Half-Life 3 is the pyro. Half-Life 3 is the balloonicorn. I hope they're not working on Half-Life 3 because I would love to work on it. My name is Laura Dubuk and I work for What a Workshop. I was a little bit of a weird kid. I was definitely, I was a little bit spacey. My mom used to say that I was off in my own world quite a lot, and that world was the one I was most comfortable in because I was a bit of a social outcast. Like, I had these really weird thoughts running through my head all the time, and it just, you know, it was just a bit different. I was kind of one of the class artists. Like, you know, every school has this sort of class, you know, the kids that are good at drawing. I don't remember when I started playing video games. I think it was my friend's Atari. Like, I used to go to my neighbor's house and play King's Quest or King of the Mountain or something like that. And I was never good at them, but I really liked watching him play. And it was so bad that my mom had to cut up little pieces of paper and write increments of time on them. I had to write like 1 hour, 1/2 hour, 15 minutes, and she had an allotment for me for the week or the day or something. And it was so painful because that was my ultimate escape. And during school, I would draw my character. I had my little fantasy character, elf, with white hair and green outfit and things like that. There was a game called Mad Maze that I really liked. I started playing Doom for a little while, but it scared me too much, so I couldn't handle it. We played Wolfenstein, the original Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, different mods like Capture the Flag and 3-Wave and things like that with my friends at LAN parties. Yeah, that was kind of the start for me. It occurred to me that I could work in video games when my friend had lent me Half-Life 1, and I played it through the summer, and he said that he was actually testing at Valve Software, and he says, I go over there once in a while and I drink lots of Mountain Dew and I eat Skittles all day and I get to play video games. And I wrote to one of the writers there and he asked him if he could be my mentor, and you know, I didn't expect anything. And he wrote me back and said, I really like your work. I would love to be your mentor. I can't do it full time, but yeah, that would be great. I don't remember my parents having much of a reaction because I think that they knew me well and I was very passionate. I think they were excited. I think that they knew me and it made sense. Towards the end of that year, he said, why don't you come and visit Valve? And I was like, oh, that would be the best thing ever. And so I did, and I got a big tour, and I got to meet everybody. Everybody was awesome, so nice to me. When I came to the end of the tour, the CEO of the company came in the office and asked me, what are you doing next year? What are you, I don't know, different questions he asked me. Gabe Newell, the CEO of the company, came in and said to the guy that was there, he says, I'll give her an internship. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And he was surprised too. My poor mentor was like, yeah, I worked that summer and it was great and I learned so much. I learned to do 3D modeling for the first time and texturing and all these things, and I got to work on Half-Life 2. It's the first game I ever worked on, and it was great because I was such a big fan, and I learned a lot, and I expected them to just let me go at the end of the summer. So I worked really, really hard and tried to prevent that from happening. And I asked Gabe again, could I please get paid? I'm going to start school soon, and if you like what I've been doing, I'd like to stay on. And so it was very scary asking him that. My parents pushed me. They said, you should ask for what you want. And he said, yeah, sure. We could offer you a contract position here. they told me, it says, we don't do internships, don't tell your friends you're an intern, don't tell anybody that you're a contract, we don't do internships, we don't do contracts. So, and it's still the case. So, yeah, so it was a bit very cool, very, very cool what happened. So I was at school, doing animation school, and working at Valve. And it was a very, very busy time in my life. I didn't sleep much, I had no social life, but I was getting paid. I was paying for half my school, so that was really great. Didn't have any student loans. Yeah, ended up working there for about 12 years. Yes, Assets made it. I actually made it in the game. I was so excited when my first few models that I made actually made it in the game. So on Half-Life 2, I worked on random props in the game. I made stuff like pipes, rocks, cans, furniture. I worked on a whole set of furniture for the inside of the apartments of City 17. And I worked on a torture chair for an interrogation room at the very beginning of the game. I worked on a magnifying lamp for Clanner's lab. I worked on, I think, some broken board models in the game that you might see. So whenever you come up against a door that's being barricaded by a board that you have to break through and it gets turned into little splinters of wood, I did that. Yeah, I wrote all the little code, all the code that you have to write in the game to get that to function too, so I'm very proud of myself. I also did things like an animated doorknob that's in the game. I think most of what I actually worked on somehow got in the game, so really happy about that. I still like playing that game because it was sort of my first love. Like, it was the first game I was really happy about, and I do see the sort of the nuts and bolts behind it, but I still actually can enjoy it. And it was such a long time ago that I've forgotten a lot of things, and I still enjoy playing those games. So after Half-Life 2, I worked on some episodic content. I worked on Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and a little bit Half-Life Episode 2, and I worked on Day of Defeat, the war game. The big title after that I worked on was Team Fortress 2. But yeah, my work at Valve changed over the years. I stayed mostly in doing environments. It's based around environments. So I started by doing individual props and texturing those, and then I started getting more into placing those props in the world, working more with a level editor. And I think as the years progressed, I got more and more responsibility and started working on whole environments and doing world textures, like textures in the walls, and then starting to think about different color themes and more like a holistic view on it. And I started taking bigger and bigger areas of the level and doing those up independently, so no one was telling me what to do for the most part. And yeah, and then I got more into conceptual design. About halfway through my years there, I was starting to do the whole process, like doing concept design and then integrating that into the level, and then starting to publish maps and things like that. So kind of bigger and bigger responsibility. I did some character design during Portal 2 as well. I worked on the final design of Chell for the second game, and it was a lot of fun. I think a lot of what people don't talk about that isn't as fun as the very glamorous sort of work that you see is the kind of day-to-day drudgery where you have to deal with bugs and you have to deal with a lot of technical work that is not artistic, it's not exciting. It's nice that you can do something that's not artistic and creative and let your mind have a rest, because another not fun thing about working in games is having to be creative every single day and having that expected of you. And you're having a bad day, sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to be creative, you have to be artistic, and that's something that you don't really think about when you're in school or when you're doing art for fun. It's much different doing art for a living than it is doing it for fun. My current job, I'm also working on a game at Dota Workshop, and I'm under my friend Greg Broadmoor, and doing similar stuff to what I was doing before. But new universe for me and with different people. I think some of the greatest advice I ever received was that you have to work extremely hard to set yourself apart, because there's so much competition these days, and something I've been learning recently is that you really need to follow your own voice and follow your individual passion for what your work is, because there's a lot of work being produced out there now with the internet and accessibility to a lot of artwork. You tend to see a lot of art and you sort of get discouraged about your work even before you finished it. Be working on some character with a really super awesome outfit and really well detailed, and then you go to CG Hub and find someone who's done the exact same thing. You get really discouraged. So I think just putting on blinders and getting in and just doing what you love is very, very important. Also, another thing is it's also very good to do research on your own. If you're into level design, it's very good to study architecture. Very good to travel a lot, so you get a repository of information in your brain that you can use. That's also your own. It's also been filtered through your own interests and your own eyes, and just going in depth with the things that you really love is also something that's helped me a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much it.